well, please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're here chatting about Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have on it, positive, negative, or neutral? I'd love to hear it. And let's give it a bit of time and let's see who's going to join. And these 1 a.m. streams, I don't have any specific topics. Rather, it's just, kind of anything I want to talk about or think is relevant, or basically, really, it's anything that comes up on the screen. I just published my Medium story talking about Freemasonry customer service. Which I hope you guys will check out. But for now, let's wait and see who joins. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Thank you all for being here. And let's talk about Freemasonry. And like I said, these 1 a.m. streams, I don't have any specific topics. Although I would encourage everybody to follow me on Medium and check out my Medium story on customer service and Freemasonry, or lessons we can take from effective customer service and apply it to our Masonic engagement, Masonic involvement, Masonic engagement with, we don't have customers, but with both our membership and with the communities in which we're located. But for now, we're just going to wait. We're going to see who joins. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. And anything you guys want to chat about, please let me know. But welcome. Let's chat about Freemasonry. Let's give it a bit of time to see who joins. Hello, I'm just going to call you Jaden because I can pronounce the rest of that. I hope you're doing, or they FW. Okay, so they F with Jaden. How's it going, Jaden? Hope you're doing well. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions or comments about Freemasonry. That's what I do this stream about. Monday through Fridays, 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. And then I do interviews as well on the same. So let me know what your thoughts are. In the meantime, hit that like and subscribe button. And if you don't want to talk about Freemasonry, anything you want to talk about is fine with me. I'm just waiting to see who joins. On a side note, delays spreading across the U.S. Freemasons are travelers. Seeing the delays at airports, specifically Chicago, O'Hare, which I know fairly well. Nashville, which I know fairly well, and even Atlanta, which I've been to. Atlanta, is a major hub. I hope the shutdown in the States gets resolved soon so people can once again travel. Well, travel without delays, anyways. Welcome. If you're just joining me, jump in the chat, say hello, let me know how it's going, and let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. And thank you, everybody, for joining me. Because I'm a Freemason, Mikhail, and I love Freemasonry. I love talking about it, and I think we as Freemasons need to spend more time talking about it. That's what this stream is about. It's not the one thing I love. I also love, scary movies, professional wrestling, but it's the thing I like to chat about most online. And it's given me a lot. Power. Well, when you say that power, that's fine. The Venom effect. When you say that, of course I can talk about it. I'm talking about it right now. I know I got ugly teeth, Richard. I know I got a big gap in my front teeth. What can I say? I still don't mind being on stream. Yes, it is a rare appearance from you, Mr. Keeps, but it's still great to have you. Thank you for being here. The Venom effect. Why do you think that you're not allowed to discuss Freemasonry? I know you said LOL, so are you just making a joke, or what's your thoughts on that? And reverse image, I am doing well. How are you doing? Who's to say I haven't found God, or at least haven't found what I understand God to be, which is supreme being, or the supreme being, which every Mason must have. Reverse image. Your new friend is doing well. How are you doing? 641. You can hit like and subscribe. David, how is it going? Thank you for being here. I hope that you are doing well. Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. As always, thank you for joining. Um, Prove that you're a Freemason. I can show you my dues cards if you'd like. I'm a member of 5 Masonic lodges, three in Ontario, and one in Israel, and one in Texas. I'm the Worship Master of Border Cities Lodge number 554. But it is good of you to ask the question to prove I'm a Freemason. That's actually something people should do. At a certain point, you kind of have to take everything on trust, because there's only so much proving one can do. But let's see. Um, let's use my Harmony Lodge dues card for now. I don't want you guys to see this secretary signature, but there you go. It's my dues card for Harmony Lodge number 579. I got my Texas. This is from Border Cities Lodge number 554. I'm currently Worshipful Master. The FW, we're talking about Freemasonry, and somebody asked me to prove I'm a Freemason. So there you go. That sounds terrifying, Punch. D, that sounds terrifying. So, Mikhail, you say I look like an egg and pretend to be a Freemason. What is it that makes you think I'm pretending, and what would make you think I am not pretending? I hope so, because I got it. I got into Freemasonry, Richard. So, and I'm a Mongoloid. I look like one, anyways. Punch, I was 10 years old. That sounds like an incredibly traumatic and scary experience for you, Punched. I'm glad that you're okay. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you can be on the stream with me. I appreciate that. And it sounds like it was an incredibly challenging experience. So I'm glad that you're here. Um, and being in a car accident, whatever happens, is also going to be incredibly traumatic and incredibly scary, especially if it's a very serious one. They FW Jaden. If you want to hit the like button and subscribe button, I would truly appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything you want to chat about. There's 1 a.m. streams. I just talk about whatever, nothing specific. I did just do my report about, or my Medium story about Freemasonry and customer service, um, and particularly what we as Freemasons can learn from effective customer service. So I think it's worth. I hope you guys will check it out. Templar 333 Punched. I would never forget either. Dream Seeker, how's it going? Once again, I will be at the coffee club on Friday morning. If you want to join, you're more than welcome. I'm going to get there right at 8 a.m. probably, so very early, relatively speaking. If you want to join, you are more than welcome. Templar, how's it going? I hope you hit the like and subscribe button, by the way. To everybody watching this, let me know if you have any thoughts, questions, comments on Freemasonry. These streams is just me hanging out, chatting about whatever. Again, though, please also check out my Medium page, where you can see my writings about how we in Freemasonry can learn more about customer service, and more specifically, how we can take effective customer service practices and apply them to our Masonic career. I cannot, Dustin, and no one can. That's awesome, Punched. I'm glad that you have that. Like I said, I believe in a supreme being. I'm not of a particular faith, but it sounds, Punched, like you have a knowledge and a belief that gives you comfort and happiness, and that's a good thing. No worries, Dream Seeker. Like I said, Friday at 8 a.m. And Dream Seeker, I also hope that you'll follow me on Medium. I would truly appreciate that. Um, Kind of, Monique, a little bit. I mean, it fulfills the same purpose as any club, which is to create bonds of brotherhood and friendship. Human beings like to be part of something, like to be part of clubs. Freemasonry is a civic or a social organization, oftentimes considered a fraternity, though there is a women's side of it as well. That has existed since 1717, if not earlier. And with any club, ultimately, it's doing the same purpose and the same job, which is helping us find our desire for belonging, to be part of a group, to be part of something bigger than ourselves. Sadly, the quote unquote secret rituals do not make you powerful. That's not what or where the power comes from. The power comes rather from helping others, which is the real secret of Freemasonry. And that is not the case at all, Richard. It won't be too long. I'll be there pretty quick, 8 to maybe 9, maybe later, earlier than that. It depends if I'm meeting a couple of people while I'm there. Um, well, Dustin, yeah, will not be sufficient. And that's one thing I tell Masons because the secrets are online. First of all, you have no idea if the secrets that you quote unquote look up on Google are accurate. You may very well be looking up completely incorrect information, in which case, no. But that's why it's not just enough to know, the quote unquote modes of recognition. You also need to have a dues card and be able to answer questions about your mother lodge and a few other things. It's not enough to just rely on external things like the modes of recognition or having a ring or anything like that. Because even rings, you can buy those online, right? That doesn't mean anything. Mikhail, it is not true. Monique, there is a membership fee. The fee is depends on the basically the lodge itself and the operating expenses of the lodge. So you can have lodges charge anywhere from $40 a year to a couple hundred to even $500 a year. It all just depends. And there's usually a one-time initiation fee, but not every lodge has that. Arturo, how's it going? Thank you for being here. Well, Richard, I can say that my soul is still safe. To my knowledge, it has not been sold to Lucifer nor to any other entity. Um, the immortal idea that resides within me is mine. Technically, Richard, I think you might be theologically incorrect. Also, to my understanding, you cannot sell your soul to Lucifer or to anybody because the soul does not belong to you. The soul belongs to God. So I think you may be theologically incorrect about a lot of your things there, um, Richard. Like I said, it's you can't sell something that doesn't belong to you. Um, as Dreamseeker points out, that's why the dues cards are so important. That's why, I mean, you need more than just a dues card. You need dues card. You should learn the Tyler's Oath. There's a lot of things you should know. You should obviously know information about your lodge, but the dues cards is a pretty key factor in all of it. Chicago West, I adore Chicago, greatest city in the world. Makes me very sad to see some of the things I've been reading about with Chicago. Welcome, Chicago West. It's not my birthday, but I do appreciate you being here. Please hit like and subscribe as a late birthday gift for me. Well, Spartan, there is no Masonic Bible. The Masonic Bible is actually the King James Bible with a square and compass on the front of it and a place for members to sign. So, if you ever read the King James version of the Bible, then you've read the Masonic Bible. I do have a big head, Arturo, but that's okay. It means I have a big brain. Freemasons believe in God. Freemasons believe in a supreme being. The nature of that supreme being is up to each individual Freemason. So it can be anything from, a belief in, you can be Christian, Muslim, Jewish, spiritual like me. There is no Masonic God, rather, there's a supreme being that each Mason has to come to based on his own understanding of it, whether it be an understanding based on his family, his culture, his own personal decisions and research, what's in his heart, anything like that. Um, Jason Hartman, hello, Jason. Thank you for being here. Please hit the like and subscribe button. I think you're new to the stream. So, what makes Freemasonry unique? Um, I mean, the history of it having existed since 1717, the history of it is fairly unique. Its origins as being from stonemasonry makes it fairly unique, as does the symbolism of it and the ritual behind it. Now, it's as unique or not unique as anything else. What makes football unique? What makes, because you play football, at its core, everything dips from the same well, which is the desire for human relationships and belonging to something greater than oneself. Um, so Freemason is a member of a Masonic lodge. A Masonic lodge is a civic or fraternal group which evolved from stonemason guilds. Um, Mr. Keeps, not a big fan of that. Don't be learning the catechisms for things before you join. You're kind of ruining it for yourself if you want to join. And I'll never promote anybody looking up the secrets of Freemasonry. Unfortunately, it's all on the internet, but I'm not a fan of that. I think if you want to learn that stuff, there's a proper way to do it, and that's to join. Um, Well, Masonic ritual, it's different in every jurisdiction. It's different in Australia versus Ontario versus Texas, but it's ultimately drawn from the same sources and same ideas, and that is rituals to help people advance from the first degree to the second degree to the third degree, followed by Scottish Rite, York Rite if they want to join that. Um, it's ultimately rituals designed to create bonds of brotherhood through shared experiences, which is a beautiful thing. Um, Unfortunately, most top positions are not occupied by Freemasons. To my knowledge, there's not a single world leader that is presently a Freemason. The last person who was a president who we know is a Freemason was Gerald Ford. Um, there's differing opinions on whether Joe Biden was a Mason or not. But if he was a Mason, he didn't become one until the last day in office. So you can take that for whatever it's worth. Stonemasonry, manipulating or shaping stone to create things that are useful for mankind, whether it be stone walls, stone houses, cathedrals, stone tools. Um, Kasra H, thank you for being here. What do Freemasons normally do? That's an interesting question. I mean, you're knocking my hair, Richard? Come on. My hair is wonderful. I would say that what Freemasons do is twofold. We have our administrative meetings, which we ensure that the lodge continues by taking care of all the administrative tasks necessary for the maintenance of a group. Pay bills, read correspondence, check on brothers who may be sick or in the hospital or who are ill. And then we have our ritual meetings where we help advance Masons through the various degrees as a way to form bonds of brotherhood. But ultimately, what we do is we try to build a better world through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth, universal beneficence, and charity, is how I put it. Who styles my hair? Again, what's with the hair knocking? And Soldier Mac, Freemasons do not worship the devil. Soldier Mac, I believe you have been reading some Albert Pike. Um, I have no idea what that means, but I feel like it's gross. Dustin Bishop. Um, well, you are welcome to think I am Ontario, Windsor, Ontario, Casra. Do I have an Ontario accent? I was born in Canada, though. Um, um, well, that's because we're not a Jewish organization, right? But once again, don't rely on internet if you want to learn these things, Mr. Keeps. It's about joining yourself, not looking stuff up and doing research like that. I love Ontario. I love Canada. Greatest country in the world. Partially because we have the greatest neighbors in the world. Um, so when you say I have no idea, Soldier Mac, why do you say I have no idea? Um, well, there you go. I'm not gay, just Canadian. I could be both or neither. Um, right? It's not, the two are not mutually exclusive. Um, I wanted to join since COVID. Okay, well, I mean, you have to find a Masonic lodge within your area and approach them. The first thing is to be one, ask one. Um, right? So find a Masonic lodge within your area and approach them. Do Freemasons, I don't know what rabid homosexuals means. I've known not many, but I think probably four or five. I'm trying to think the number. I've known several homosexual Masons, and they're welcome. We don't discriminate based on sexual orientation, which I think is one of its strengths. In the same way, we don't discriminate based on religious beliefs or ethnicities or age or disabilities or anything else, right? I think one of the strengths of Freemasonry is the fact that it is welcoming to people of all sorts of different sexual orientation, backgrounds, religions. I think that's makes it very strong. Not a huge fan of morals and dogma. There are no certain months or years. Honestly, the first thing you must do is hit the like and subscribe button. Sorry, hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the like and subscribe button for my channel. I say that so often. To join, though, you need to find the local lodge within your area, give them a call, send them an email. You can even write them a letter, like I did, and then they'll get in touch with you. But there is no time frame by which to apply. You simply contact the lodge. If you're applying over the summer or contacting them over the summer, they may not be meeting, so that may take a bit of time to get back to you. But yeah, there's no specific time. It's just about contacting them. To be one, ask one. Um, Not a fan. So I've read it. I read it ages ago. I think part of it is I've been, um, my love of morals and dogma has been sorely tested by this stream because a lot of non-Masons read it and then make assumptions about Freemasonry. One of the things you often hear is, right, that Freemasons worship Lucifer. A lot of people get that from morals and dogma, which is unfortunate. I think, look, the historical context which Albert Pike puts Freemasonry into, I think is valuable. I think his understanding of democracy has a value to it, but I think his mystical and theological statements did way more harm than good. And also, I think it showed a misunderstanding of Freemasonry. So, it's not a cult that is British or anything else. It's not a cult. It did originate in either Scotland or England, depending on who you ask. I tend to go with England, but it is not a cult. And no, I do not. Richard, Freemasonry is not about that. That is for sure. Thank you, Reverse Image. But I mean, I would recommend to anybody who's interested, read Morals and Dogma. There's a lot of valuable information. Just also take it with a grain of salt. For that matter, take everything I say with a grain of salt as well. Um, right? You should always take whatever is said with a grain of salt. However, if you are doing research online, be careful with that as well, right? Just because something, you know, what I would say is the biggest thing you need to ask is what is the length of time the person speaking has been a Freemason and to which lodges are they affiliated? Um, is now a good time? Now is a fine time to approach them. Don't think about it as an application because at the start you're not applying to be a Freemason. At the start, you're simply approaching them, right? And expressing an interest and then take it from there. So just approach the local lodge, write them a letter, send an email, and make sure to ask to which Grand Lodge are they affiliated. Um, well, human nature, Mark O, is there are both positive and negative persons in any group. That's human nature, right? There are good and bad football players. My hope is if you follow the philosophies of Freemasonry, you are more likely to be a good person because I think the philosophies of Freemasonry trend toward being a good person. Um, However, I can't pretend like there's never been any not so good Freemasons. I just like I love scary movies. There's been some not so good actors in scary movies. Human nature is such that even the most well-intentioned and greatest of organizations cannot, help everyone find their better angels. I wish that that was the case. I do not want to, Bobby Stern. When you say hermetic stuff, you're referring to hermetic philosophies. Um, Golden Dawn, I think, was one of them. Um, I mean, not really. I would say primarily when you think about Freemasonry, you should think about it in terms of stonemasonry and stonemason guilds. Um, but to say, I mean, Freemasonry borrowed from a lot of different groups and orders and ideas. Egyptian mysticism, which I know was a hermetic, so it has some of that in there for sure. Judaism, Islam, Christianity get some stuff in there, obviously. Stoicism actually had a major impact in Freemasonry. Um, and then even some Chinese mythology made its way into Freemasonry. So, um, Lil Reaper, I do not have a grain of salt. I'm not sure to what that's referring. Um, I have not, Marco. I'm very sorry. Fact, it does get complicated, especially for people who are not familiar with Freemasonry. What I always suggest is, as a start and the best place to go, check out Freemasonry for Dummies, written by Chris Hodap. It's a great book to start with, and it's a great piece of literature to give you a general idea on Freemasonry and what it is. Christ is King. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope you hit the like and subscribe button. I have no idea what Glazers Out means. So, ML, Freemasonry for Dummies by Chris Hodap. A great book, a great place to start. Also, ML, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a uh, self plug here. It's not books, but it is written work. My Medium channel, which is basically written work, is basically like YouTube for written work. ML, you can find it medium.com/@Adamson dash Cameron. No, you cannot, Richard. No, you cannot. What you can do is hit the like and subscribe button. And thank you, everybody, for the question. Uh, but Freemasonry for Dummies and then my stuff. Also, the United Grand Lodge of England, ML, just put out a great newsletter. It's called the Welcoming Newsletter, if I recall correctly. And it's actually written specifically for non-Masons who have questions and who are interested in becoming a Freemason. Um, and so, United Grand Lodge of England, UGLE, the Welcoming Newsletter. I'd recommend you check that out. Um, it's really, really, believe me, it's worth the read. And it's written in such a way that it provides just enough information, but not so much that it would kind of ruin the experience of joining or kind of provide spoilers. Um, no worries. I hope that that was helpful. Yes, Masons pay dues. It depends on the lodge, to be honest, but dues can be as little as $40 per month to as much as 500, or sorry, dues can be as little as $400 per year, up to $500 per year. It really depends on the lodge. Every lodge sets its own rates. Some could even be higher, some could even be lower. Um, it really does depend on each lodge and what its expenses are like. Dustin, I'm not sure if you like or subscribe, but if you are not, please hit the like and subscribe button and let me know how it's going. If there's anything that you want to talk about, we're going to be ending this stream probably in an hour. I do these streams from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. I really just wait to see what questions pop up and then go from there. So let's see who has any questions. It's interesting. We got a couple of some anti-Masons, which is fine. I appreciate them as much as I appreciate anybody else on stream. And Christ is King. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions on Freemasonry. Let's give it a few and see who joins. We'll go from there. Well, so each lodge has its own administration, worshipful master, treasurer, secretary, other officers who administer the day-to-day functions of the lodge. And then it will belong usually to a district and a jurisdiction. So in Ontario, the ultimate rules as to how a Masonic Lodge is to be run is the Grand Lodge of Ontario. And those rules and that constitution applies within Ontario exclusively. Then on Texas is different. So Freemasonry is jurisdictional. What you say kinetic is a good way to think about it, right? A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that Freemasonry is some type of global organization. There's Freemasonry around the world, but lodges themselves don't answer to a global order. Rather, they answer to a local governing body, which could be province by province, state by state. In Europe, sometimes country by country. So, Richard, it seems, not everybody can see what you just said. It seems as though you have some pretty negative views on Freemasonry. Either that or you're trying to troll. What is going on? Where did you get some of these ideas? I feel like you may have been watching too many conspiracy videos on the YouTubes or on social media. So, where are some of your ideas coming from? And by the way, congratulations to Chicago. Voted best big city 9 years in a row. Never done, never outdone. I would 100% agree with that. Chicago's the bomb. It's an incredible city, and it deserved its win. Well, I don't know where you were, but I've been a Mason for 20 years, been to over 1,000 events, 1,000 meetings, never came across any sacrifices of anyone, 2 years old or otherwise. So clearly I'm in the wrong group or something. I do not agree with that at all. Reverse, Chicago is awesome. How has Freemasonry changed my life? Freemasonry has given me the opportunity to fight for a better world. So it's not so much how it's changed my life, but it's changed, allowed me and put me in a privileged position to change the lives of those around me. And that's something I take a lot of pride in. Um, it's also, though it has allowed me to meet friends I would not have otherwise met, it's allowed me to stay close to my father when many people, I think, at my age start to move away from their family a little bit. It's allowed me to meet friends whenever otherwise I met, allowed me to do this YouTube channel. So in many ways, but I don't like to think about it in terms of what it's given to me, rather the opportunity that's given to me to help others. Sure. Well, I mean, charity work, benevolence. I've been in a privileged position that when some of my brothers are suffering, maybe financially or otherwise, we can offer them benevolence. So there's a great deal of that assistance, without question. And it's something I take a great deal of pride in. But a lot of Masons do charity work. Um, I can't think of the name now. It's bugging me. Masonic Charities Foundation out of UGLE has done a lot of incredible work for charitable engagement or charitable involvement. So, We are a social club primarily. However, within that social club format, we have our Masonic rituals, which create the bonds of friendship and brotherhood between the members of our club. We have to administer our clubs to make sure they still operate, right? You need to pay bills, you need to um, read correspondence, we have charitable efforts, we have Masonic education, we learn about the history of Freemasonry. Uh, there's a ton that we do, but ultimately, what we do is we care about each other and the world around us and try to create a better world through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. As Mavro says, Masons have done that for my father as well. Masons have helped out my dad by driving him to his cancer care appointments also. Mavro, welcome. I think you're new to the stream. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Dream Seeker, no, I don't think it's surprising that membership has gone down at all. Membership in civic organizations have been dropping steadily since the 90s. This book called Bowling Alone touched on it. There's a lot of reasons why, but it does not surprise me in the least. It'd be worth talking about that one day when I have more time on a longer stream. Um, I have no idea what that means, Richard, but that sounds gross. I'm not going to lie to you. Mavro, welcome though. Thank you for being here. Are you from Manitoba then? Because within Freemasonry, obviously, I know Manitoba has the cancer cars and the cancer driving program. Other jurisdictions have it as well. We're just giving it a bit more time as I was going to see who joins. So religion is not, how do I put that? Religion is not a part of Freemasonry in the sense that Freemasonry is not a religion. Okay, Vancouver, that's awesome. We do have, a requirement to be a Mason is to be a supreme being or to believe in a supreme being. The nature of that supreme being is up to each individual Mason. So we do have many religious Masons. You know, I would say majority are of the Abrahamic faith. And in Canada, I would say the majority are Christian or kind of, if they're not going to church or anything, they would kind of describe their supreme being in Christian terms. We also, though, have Masons who are Hindu, Buddhist, Indigenous. Um, I know a couple of Wiccan, Wiccan Freemasons, and myself, who I'm spiritual. I don't necessarily believe in any one particular Masonic religion. However, I do believe in a supreme being. Freemasonry will not make you famous, Ishmael. Call me Ishmael. I'm very sorry. If anybody promises you that Freemasonry will make you rich or famous, they are scamming you. So you need to keep that in mind. Um, Same thing if they promise you Freemasonry will make you rich or famous. It's a scam, so you need to be very careful about that. But thank you so much for being here. Aristotle's unmoved mover. I'm not necessarily convinced that the universe um, cannot be eternal. I sometimes question that. I'm working on it. I'll be the first famous Freemason. And when I become a famous Freemason, I'll thank all of you guys for the help. But welcome, everybody who's joining. Thank you for being here. Please, as always, take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. And let me know what it is that you want to talk about. I'm going to end this stream in about 15 minutes. I'll just go till 2 a.m. These streams are meant to be shorter, and it's anything we want to talk about. My 1 p.m. streams, I tend to have more specific topics. And I have a few ideas as well, so. Well, I could eat the chicken. So, chicken. So Every Mason has to decide that for himself, kinetic, or herself, because the beautiful thing about Freemasonry is every Freemason has their own ideas or their own understandings of what Freemasonry is or how Freemasonry, like what is important or what the rituals mean to them. And that's one thing I always ask new Freemasons when they join is to think about the rituals, what the rituals mean, and how the rituals affected them specifically. I can tell you why I believe the rituals are important. And the reason I believe the rituals are important is because they form the bonds of brotherhood through shared experiences. The fact that all of us in Freemasonry have to engage with these and participate within these rituals means we all have a shared understanding and a shared basis or shared experiences, and that allows us to create the bonds of brotherhood, right? If I'm joining a group and I can join it in one way, and the person who comes in after me joins it in a completely different way with a completely different set of rituals, we're not going to have the same bond of brotherhood that we would because of the shared purpose of ritual. In fact, I've argued, I think in human history, that's been the purpose of ritual, is to create bonds through shared brotherhood. James C., we're talking about Freemasonry. James C., please hit like and subscribe and let me know if you have any questions on the same. Witch Hunter, honestly, I'm not one who necessarily minds them. By the way, Brazil, love to have you here. I was in Brazil a few months ago. It was incredible. Um, which honestly, I'm one of those people, I don't actually mind conspiracy theories on Freemasonry. I'm one of the few who doesn't actually get that concerned about them. I think they're all in good fun ultimately. So, um, Derek, that's very strange. You got to get off this topic and start talking about something else. Well, I appreciate that, James C. I will say we as Freemasons will welcome people of the Roman Catholic faith, obviously, any faith, right? So long as you believe in a supreme being. I understand the Catholic Church has a different view. I wouldn't say we don't believe in anything, right? Or we believe in everything. What I'd say is our beliefs um, are not related to um, um, religion or religious beliefs, right? Our beliefs are more based on philosophies. In the same way, you could say football players don't have any set beliefs, certainly not spiritual beliefs. However, football players believe in teamwork, dedication, practice, physical health, and fitness. In that same sense, we as Freemasons, we don't have religious set beliefs, but we do have beliefs in things like charity, civic engagement, brotherhood, um, the way metaphor can impact morality, or the way geometry can have moral lessons. So there you go. Um, they are in the sense that they are both my um, they're both related to me, but not to each other. But Richard does not seem to be a fan of me at all. Derek, some do, some don't. But I'm saying you never say football playing is a religion, right? Every football player has his own set of beliefs. However, there are common philosophies that you likely have if you're a football player. Same is true of Freemasonry. I can't say, there's a specific type of God that Freemasons believe in. However, there are certain philosophies you're likely to have if you are a Freemason. Certainly, if you're an active Freemason, I would say. Welcome to the Brotherhood. Thank you for being here. Yes, James, that's a good way to look at it. And I appreciate you not demonizing Freemasonry. Unfortunately, many people do, not just Catholics or anything like that. But thank you for being here. James, I hope you'll hit the like button. I hope you hit the subscribe button. And let me know if you have any questions about my Masonic experiences. I'd love to know at least what your thoughts are on it. And please hit that like and subscribe button to everybody watching this. Um, like I said, I think when it comes to Freemasonry, the most important thing to understand is that it is not a religion, but that doesn't mean there aren't certain philosophies that I think are kind of imparted through Masonic engagement. I can't pronounce that. Mitixo? Well, I'm working on it, Derek. Freemasonry accepts the belief in a supreme being. So if you are Hindu, I know Masons are Hindu, Sikh, um, Christian, Muslim, Jewish. I know Catholic Freemasons. I know Protestant Freemasons. Even non-religion. So, for example, I'm spiritual. I'm not necessarily have a belief in a particular religion, but I believe in a supreme being, right? It's about a belief in a supreme being. Um, we're working on it, James. I believe that you actually have, um, it is a guild, absolutely. Right. I think one of the biggest problems we have right now in Freemasonry, James, is that we are not relevant to the communities in which we are located because either we don't do enough to be part of the community and make people aware that we are part of the community, or we do not um, let people know about the good works we're doing. If Freemasonry is going to survive, it needs to be relevant to our communities. And people need to know not just that Freemasonry exists, but the value of having a Masonic lodge in your community, the economic value, the social value, things like that. So you're not wrong. By It's unfortunate that we are not noticed, and it's very dangerous, I think, for Freemasonry to survive. You're not wrong. I'm trying. I'm working on it. Freemasonry, unfortunately, is not always the best at adaptation, but there are many Masons working on adapting Freemasonry to 2025 and beyond. Knights of Columbus is also really struggling, James, which is unfortunate because I'm one of those people who I believe as one Masonic lodge, as one civic group goes, so do the rest of them. I take no pleasure in seeing any group, be it the Knights of Columbus or anything else, struggling. Rachel, Freemasonry is not satanic. I'm sorry to say you are incorrect, Rachel. You can't hit the like and subscribe button, anyways. Well, I mean, great architect is a Masonic term you hear often. Another term is supreme being. That's the term I use on this stream. Um, so, I, looking at it as a men's club is a good way to look at it. Witch hunters, certainly the fraternal side of Freemasonry is the strongest and the biggest. There is, for example, the Order of Women Freemasons. There's also Eastern Star, which are, women's groups. But thinking about it as a men's club is not a terrible way to think about it. It's just a men's club with a lot more formalized structure. Um, but yeah, that's not an ill-informed way to think about it at all. And by the way, Witch Hunter, thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. I hope you'll join me on my stream at 1 p.m. today in about 12 hours. You might be right, James. You might be right, but I'm working on it. I'm doing my best. So we'll see what I can do. The old level idea, Rachel. Yeah, I've heard that many times. The idea that I'm not at the right level. However, what I found is whatever level I happen to be at is not the right level. Which honestly, it seems like a little bit of cope, Rachel, in the sense that, you have the benefit of being able to argue wherever I am in Freemasonry, I'm not at the highest level. Before 2002, James, well before 2002, there's this book called Bowling Alone by Richard Putman, which talks about the decline in membership in civic groups that go as far back as the early 90s. In fact, even the 80s. So it's not even a 2002 issue. No, Alan, I'm a Freemason. As a Freemason, I'm part of a social club or a civic organization. Masons, stonemasons, which you're looking at, it is a Masonic, it was the forerunner to Freemasonry, stonemasonry. We are evolved from those guilds. Alan, though, please hit like and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. Um, Vic, welcome. Please hit like and subscribe. I was Uncle 32. You don't have to pursue it, Vic. I appreciate you being here. There are many people who became Demolay members as young men and then did not pursue Freemasonry. That's perfectly fine. I'm still happy that you're here. Obviously, thank you for being here. Uncle was 32nd, so he was Scottish Rite member. Very cool. Um, What are the degrees about? Each degree seeks a different lesson. And again, every Mason has to decide that for himself. I know it sounds strange to say it that way, but one of the things about Freemasonry is it's a personal journey, and you have to interpret the degrees within your heart. I would say, in emulation ritual, especially, a really good way to think about it is birth, midlife, and death. The life of man, I think, is a decent way to think about the first three degrees. But I think everybody should interpret them for themselves because I know many people have different interpretations of it. Vic, well, I mean, maybe you came here for a reason then. As you may have heard, the old expression, to be one, ask one. Just find you need to find a Masonic lodge within your area, approach them, write them a letter, and see what they have to say. Freemasonry is not a cult. Um, so I'm very sorry to say, if you're asking how do you join the cult, maybe Freemasonry is not right for you. Mark, unfortunately, there's many conspiracy theories about Freemasonry out there on YouTube and different social media platforms. Um, but I don't think I'm a bad guy. I try not to be a bad guy. I don't always succeed. One of my favorite quotes is it's a religious quote. I don't remember who said it, but it said the quote was, "Dear God, I do not always know the right thing to do, but the fact that I try to do the right thing, I hope pleases you." For me, even though I don't always succeed in doing what's good. I try to know what the good thing is. Um, Piercing the veil. Have I visited the East as of late? I am currently worshipful master of Border Cities Lodge number 554 and proud of it. Even though it's a lot of work and effort and time and challenges that come with being a worshipful master. Anything you care about comes with its challenges. You have to kind of accept that, right? That's a big part of it. Um, but piercing the veil, you did say somewhere, I think, that the last lesson is Lucifer, which makes me think you might be trolling or you might have been reading too much Albert Pike and misunderstanding what he was saying. Because the last lesson within Freemasonry has nothing to do with Satanism or Lucifer of any sort. James, you're not wrong. Social media, pornography, those are major challenges that encourages, I think, men to isolate themselves, unfortunately. Philip Smith, welcome. Hello. Please hit like and subscribe. Um, Philip, welcome. The true light. Well, what I would remind you of when it comes to your friend and mine, Albert Pike, is he was into spiritualism and mysticism. Um, and for him, when he talked about Lucifer, it was in reference to kind of a Prometheus-like figure, right? Like Prometheus brought fire from the gods. It was a somebody who provided knowledge. It was actually separate from kind of the biblical Satan. Um, well, both my grandfathers were Masons, as was my dad. You don't want to think about Freemasonry though in terms of levels piercing the veil. That's kind of a misconception. There's three levels: EA, FC, MM. After that, it's a pendant bodies, it's rites. but they're not of a higher level than a master mason. That is one thing that many people kind of misunderstand within the craft. And also, this focus on higher levels, people forget, if you want to get people to join and remain within Freemason, um, you're going to want to provide them with the information they need right away, what it's all about, right? Like in any book, in any paper, the most important information you provide at the start. Um, that is not the correct, that is not correct, but hit the like and subscribe button anyways, even though that is not what Freemasonry is about. Freemasonry does not discriminate against people of different sexual orientations, but Freemasonry is not. Freemasonry is a civic or social club. It's not about getting caught or not getting caught in anything. Mark, it's hard to know. You never know for sure. I mean, Albert Pike is one of those people whom I have a lot of issues with. I think he got a lot of stuff right, but a lot more wrong. Um, well, good for you, Minnie, but please hit like and subscribe, despite the trollish nature of your statement. Um, you're not wrong, James. I don't think it's been a media thing. I think it's not been a media thing. It's been more a social media thing. There's been a ton of really positive news stories about Freemasonry in traditional media, newspapers, news stations, local news. The problem is social media, which tends to thrive on sensationalism, is going to get far more interest in conspiracy and nonsense than in truth, unfortunately. Um, well, I mean, I try to be very calm about trolls. I think when you go online, Mark, when you decide that you are going to YouTube live stream, the biggest challenge is you're going to get people saying a bunch of nonsense to you and about you. Sometimes it's about the thing you're talking about, like Freemasonry. Sometimes they're talking a bunch of nonsense about just how I look or what I sound like or whatever it is. It's just something, Mark, that unfortunately you have to accept for better or worse. I try my best to make sure that I don't let it get to me. Not as much as I'd like Witch Hunter, very minimally. But I try to because, again, Freemasonry has borrowed some stuff from Eastern philosophies and Eastern religions as well. People don't realize it. It actually did borrow some stuff from ancient Chinese mythology, even. So, yes, Sam, yes. For heaven's sakes, wipe. Veritas, I mean, I think there's some good evidence. I let everybody decide for themselves. Even like some well-known atheists online have posted some pretty good videos about the evidence for God. But you are welcome to think that way. Fabros, I do not know what mega whiskey is. ANMP, ask your question. Um, I cannot help you with that, though. Welcome, Mara. Thank you for being here. What is the best evidence I have? The best evidence is all circumstantial, but it would be the fact that there is a universe that has an order and that is both ordered and rational. I think implies some type of design on some level. I believe in evolution. I believe in the multiverse, but I still cannot help but look at the order of the universe, and it feels as though there must be some type of intuitive um, design behind it that makes me think there must be a supreme being of some sort. Not really Witch Hunter. I mean, I don't mind it. Even if they're talking about us, but I find with those because when you have a movie that has a conspiracy element to it about Freemasonry, I find in that case it's still something that is more taken for entertainment. People don't take it as seriously. When you have conspiracy related podcasts, people didn't take those more seriously, and that can reflect more negatively on Freemasonry. I have not heard of the blind watchmaker, Jeremy, but I've heard of watchmakers as big analogies for a designed universe. So I'm assuming it's the same thing. Yes, I have a big nose. Please hit like and subscribe. Latif, please hit like and subscribe as well. Well, it is ordered because we can predict it, and not only can we predict it, but we can predict when it will happen, pretty precisely. And so that is an example of an ordered universe, right? Ordered universe does not mean, bad things, or at least as we would judge, bad things don't happen. It does mean that we can at least predict with some level of rationality the consequences of our actions. And that allows us to make decisions that favor virtue, right? If if there is no way for me to predict the outcome of my actions, there would be no way for me to be moral because like walking, today I could give, be charitable to somebody and the money could turn into a dragon and eat them. And tomorrow I could, like, there'd be a moral decision making framework needs me to be able to understand the consequences of my actions and act upon them, or to understand the consequences of other people's actions and respond to them. But it also means that yes, there's a moral quality to the idea that the sun will overtake the earth because we can predict that. Rationality, I believe, is a form of morality. Um, what's up? Thank you, NSK. Well, I don't know when you say there's no good. Well, there are no. I mean, I'm not suggesting that the universe was necessarily designed. I'm saying it points to some type of rational, if not a designer per se, a rational mind behind the universe in some form. Um, it's very hard for me to see a rational universe and not imagine rational designer of some sort behind it. Designer is maybe not the right word. Let me try to figure out if I can think of the right word. Rational mind behind it. Which God? Well, I mean, I don't know if any religion has got it right. When you say which God, I'm not one who believes in a particular religion. I believe in a supreme being, but not one as described in any religious book. Um, Tragedy and hope. I've heard that argument before, Veritas. Here's what I would say, Veritas Radio. Have you, well, kinetic rationality. So, kinetic, who saw that, Veritas, have you ever seen the movie Lincoln, starring Daniel Day-Lewis? Um, Welcome, Theophilus. Please hit like and subscribe. Jeremy, why? I'm going to give you the example. Never heard of the Book of Enoch. Not sure what that is. Wait, no, Enoch. That's. Hold on one second. It's a religious text, right? Jewish, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so Kinetic Veritas Radio. There's in the movie Lincoln. There's this part that always stuck with me. It stuck with me as a Freemason in particular. By the way, Rip Lenetter, please hit like and subscribe. And it still sticks with me to this day. Um, Lincoln is faced with a moral decision, right? He needs to decide whether he is going to make a decision that will potentially end the Civil War immediately, but at the cost of slavery not ending as soon as it could, or he can prolong the war, but as a consequence of prolonging the war, it's possible to end slavery sooner. And he has to make this decision, and it's a moral question, right? And you might think that for a moral question, he would rely on the Bible or he would rely on a religious text. However, he actually relies on Euclid's propositions. Particularly, he relies on Euclid's fourth proposition, if I recall correctly, which says things that are equal to the same thing are equal to each other. Now, that's a statement of rationality. That's a statement of geometry. That's a statement of a rational universe. The fact that things that are equal to each other are equal to the same is ultimately a statement of rationality. However, he uses that to derive a moral lesson from it and the metaphor of the morality of humans as being equal to one another because they're equal to a supreme being. And so what I mean to say by that is we within Freemasonry, or also to a certain extent have an understanding morality through geometry and rationality. And I think you're linking to the same thing, and that's what I do, right? So when I say rationality demonstrates morality, or rationality allows for morality, I think the Abraham Lincoln example is the best one. Welcome back, Eminem. Marathea, please hit like and subscribe. Well, I think I can control my thoughts, and not always, but I can either control my thought or the reaction to my thought. So Veritas Radio, Kinetic, I hope what I said made sense to you. I remember Eminem from back in the day. Thank you, Mara. So Jeremy, let me know what you thought of what I said. I think too much because my brain won't stop. There's this song I really like. It's called My Mind Won't Rest and I Can't Sleep, which unfortunately is very much my life. You looked at the guy in the movie Coneheads, the Batman 559. Well, thank you for that, because the Coneheads were very handsome fellas. Please hit like and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. And thank you for being here. Jeremy, did what I say make sense? Talking about rationality and morality and how we can discover those things or understand those things. There you go. How to attract a Freemason baddie. Pancake breakfasts. Honestly, that's the best way to do it. Thank you. Listen to Eminem and follow me on Patreon. Patreon.com/Square and Compass. You can follow me there as well. I'll even put it in the chat just so you guys can check it out. If I was, would it matter? That's the better question to ask there. Copy and paste that. Not really, Veritas. I tend not to believe in miracles. No, I believe that because we have a rational universe, I can both understand the consequences of my actions, which is basically his will being known to us, and because of that, it favors virtue. But I don't believe in miracles or anything of that. I don't believe in anything that would interfere with the rational nature of the universe. Well, thank you, Oscar. Please hit like and subscribe in honor of my cone head, or my egg-shaped head, if you will. All right, then, Dream. I'll see you. It's not inconsequential. First of all, it's necessary to be a Freemason, but I think it helps remind me of why it's important that I act in a moral way, because there was, it's not even so much designed. It's like the rational nature of the universe is the supreme being. It is God. In the same way Einstein considered God to be the mathematical equations that govern the universe. Like it's important I recognize and understand that. Um, and it reminds me of how I wish to act within the world and act in a matter that's better, right? Like my dad doesn't interact with well, he does. If you know, my mom doesn't interact with me anymore. She's passed away. However, that doesn't mean she's still not important to me. So Einstein didn't believe in God in again in the sense of a being that interacts with us and has a personality and et cetera, et cetera. But he did describe God as being the equations which govern the universe, which is very similar to how I would define God. Um, I've heard that before, William Barry. I've heard that example in the past. You're not the first person to give me that one. So there you go. I'll need to read more into Tao, uh, Maratia. I don't know enough about it. Well, I think science is our best way to understand God, and I think God, again, is best seen in the equations which govern the universe. Um, I would say the two can be the same thing, Oscar. We didn't deify George Washington. That's we admire George Washington. I would say he's probably one of my favorite Freemasons. Um, but uh, when you say deify, like he's not. There's no Masonic god or gods. He's but George Washington as a Mason was certainly one of the most active, even as a Mason and a the president. William, I've never believed in that. That sounds to me kind of like a Jordan Peterson argument you're making, which I'm not a fan of that argument. I think it's kind of very silly, unfortunately. Then it does sound to me very much like what I believe, Mayor. That might be one of the best examples or best descriptions of what I believe. Um, the apotheosis, an empty tomb in the Capitol. Um, Let me just look that up. It's a fresco. But does that mean he's deified? Like, deified means you worship as a god, which I've never heard of any Freemason worshiping George Washington as a god. I also don't know if the painter of it was actually a Freemason. It was painted by Constantino Brumidi, who it looks like wasn't a Freemason. Let me double check. So the person who painted it wasn't a Freemason, to my knowledge. So I think he was just the painting was just done by someone who I guess really admired George Washington. Um, yeah, William, I don't necessarily know if I believe that or not. I mean, there's the old no atheist in a foxhole idea, but I tend to be very wary of that as an idea. I think it is possible for people to go through the life without believing in God or a supreme being. Again, unless you use the term believe to be so broad, like a Jordan Peterson, that anything and everything constitutes it, which I think is intellectually dishonest, in my personal opinion. My personal opinion. Um, he may have been, but he was not a Freemason, Theophilus. Don't we all, Derek? You got to find something else to talk about, Derek. Um, yes, the what do you mean by believe, which I always thought, again, was a little bit intellectually dishonest. Um, going to give this stream another 15 minutes. Then I'll be ending it. It was fun, but as always, um, we'll be back 1 p.m. I hope everybody's having a great night. Thank you for joining. It's always fun. Well, then, that you should drink some water. If it persists, talk to a doctor. I'm very sorry you have a headache, though. And thank you for that, Kinetic. Welcome back, the Batman. All right. Let's just put some people. People always say that, Theophilus, but that's not really true to my understanding of it. Um, there is a bar and a ball that costs. There's a bat and a ball that costs $1.10 total. The bar is $1 more than the. Oh, what am I, a math wizard over here? Somebody answer the question for Veritas Radio. There is a bat and a ball, and it costs $1.10 combined. The bat is $1 more than the ball. My football helmet. Wait, I know this. This is a trick. Hold on 1 second. There is a bat and ball. There's a trick. I looked it up because I was like, it's not what I think it is. It's $1.05 and 5 cents. Took me a second. No, I cheated and I Googled it. Because I was like, I was going to say $1.10. Was like, no, that can't be right. One was $1, one was 10 cents, and I realized, no, that can't be right. So I cheated. Just because I have math equations on my arm doesn't mean I can actually do math, or that I'm that smart. I hope the fact that I Googled it will not affect your liking and subscribing, and potentially joining my Patreon, which you can join for free. I do not want to sustain because I've heard of that before. You got to wake up pretty early in the morning to get one over on me, Sass Stained. Please hit like and subscribe. I did smoke cigarettes, but I do not anymore. I quit many years ago. So nobody should smoke cigarettes. It's bad for you. I live on my own. My mom has actually passed away, unfortunately, a few years ago. But we all lose our moms sooner or later. Yeah, I got two of them. I got the theory of special relativity here, and entropy here. Well, hit like and subscribe, Sustain, and then I'll see what I can do. Is that video even still on the internet? I'm pretty sure it's been taken down a million times by now. Can we talk about something simple like the cognitive system? Who says I have a cognitive system? I might not be that smart. Don't I wish, Derek? By the way, to everybody who's joining me, thank you so much. It's been a really good stream in terms of numbers of people, so I truly appreciate that. And it's been fun, as always. I've got a 24-hour stream coming up. Well, I do. That doesn't mean I'm smart. Coming up on October 21st, that's going to be in a couple of weeks. I hope you guys will join me for that. They do not. They are Masonic tattoos, so they represent my love of Freemasonry. And I've got stuff here that represents Elm Street, scary movies. I love scary movies. I should do a whole episode about my tattoos. This is a scary movie tattoo in honor of Halloween. My award. I've got a few different awards. I should show those off at some point as well. It does. It does. Cult of Thorn, Kinetic knows. Well done, Kinetic. Way to be paying attention. I truly appreciate that. I love Cult of Thorn. Payne Santee, I am a Mason. Been a Mason since 2007. So 20 years. The purpose of Square Compass Promotions is to explore the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it is located. And I do these live streams to talk about Freemasonry. So I hope that you will hit the like and subscribe button, Payne. And let me know if you have any questions or thoughts or comments. If you're a Freemason, we can talk about your experiences therein. If you're not, we can talk about questions you have. My dad was a Shriner. Awesome. I had a noodle salad. It was actually really good. No, it's not, Richard. No, it's not. My strong suit apparently is talking on the internet. At least I'm working on it. Everybody attracts trolls like this. Reverse image is not exclusive to me, believe me. We all have to deal with these things online. This is the price you play if you want to. Sorry, this is the price you pay if you want to play baseball, for better or worse. Louise, show us your ankle tat. I can't tell if you're being humorous or not because I have no legs, so I have no ankle or ankles. I have my wrist tattoo. Of course, salt and pepper. It's great. All right, let's give this a few more. Let's see who else jumps on. Because it's been great to see people jumping on kind of later on in the stream. In the meantime, though, please hit like, please hit subscribe. Thank you all for being here. As always, I truly appreciate it. I could go to the moon one day. Who knows? Maybe I got lucky. Pepsi, actually, Coke. I had a pop to drink, and then I had coffee afterwards. Sorry, Louise, I'm done pretty soon. What is Massachusetts? And from whence are you on the loose, Waddles? But thank you for being here, Waddles, nonetheless. Please hit like and subscribe. I do not. Not as clean as it could be, but I'm working on it. That's on the list. Don't worry. I got to do some cleaning in my house soon, to be honest. It's getting kind of dirty, so. Rod Rahin Laxus. I will answer that question, Rahin, after you hit the like and subscribe button. So hit that, then I'll answer your question. Or we can make that a poll question, to be honest. Um, all right. I think the guy should pay on the first date. Um, So there you go. That is my answer to that. Ryan, though, do you have any questions about Freemasonry out of curiosity? That's what we talk about on the stream. So let me know. You hit the like button, the thumbs up, the like. I do not, Derek. I do not. Well, there is no. I mean, honestly, the woman's responsibility is to uh, just be polite and kind during the date, I suppose. Or if she's not enjoying it, to just leave, right? Um, it's the same responsibilities everybody has on a date, which is to be polite and kind and respectful. But I am old fashioned. I think if they're going on a date, the guy should pay. But just call me old fashioned. What can I say? And beyond that, the responsibilities then are on both parties just to be nice and pleasant company and not be a jerk. Um, so no, this is not dating advice. I got a question about whether I think men or women should pay on the first date. I gave my answer, but that's just my opinion. Glitch, this channel is actually about Freemasonry. Um, I talk about Freemasonry, positive, negative, neutral, any thoughts people have on it. I just hang out and chat. 1 a.m. streams, I don't have any specific topics. I just wait and see what people ask questions about and I answer it. Um, sure, Jay, you absolutely can. Do you mind if I ask where you're from? I might know the lodge. But yes, that's a great question. Now, um, hopefully they had good records and they kept records. Maybe you can even ask to take a tour of their building. They may even have pictures of your great grandfather. Because if he was a worshipful master, there may be a picture of him at a lodge meeting. So they may have something for you. I can't promise. It depends on the record keeping. It depends on a lot of different factors, but there's no harm in calling them. Absolutely. Um, so Okay, I don't know any lodges in Australia, but you should get in touch with them by all means. Jay, I hope you'll hit the like and subscribe button. Same thing, Glitch. I'm a gig worker. I'm trying to do this for a living, to be honest, Glitch. So if you want to support me, you can support me by going to my Patreon, patreon.com/square and compass. I have no idea. I live in an apartment complex. All my stuff goes down a chute. I do go to the library, the Batman. I love the library. I am a huge supporter of local libraries. In fact, my suspicion is there is actually a connection between people who are likely to be active and involved in Freemasonry and people who are likely to have library cards. Um, Well, Skin E, you could help me by adding to my subs and by supporting me on Patreon, patreon.com/square and compass. One step at a time, one brick at a time, right? One moment at a time. Well, I'm working on it, Skin E, but please support me on Patreon, all that good stuff. I have a regular wheelchair, not a fast one. Eastern Star is do you mean the symbol or the group? It's a order within Freemasonry open to men and women. The star itself represents, the 5 points are five biblical women: Esther, Ruth, I think Mary, and five virtues. I do know my neighbors. I'm lucky I have some great neighbors. They're awesome people. Yes, I'm in a wheelchair. I was born with missing my legs. Um, all right, Derek, you're being kind of weird. I'm going to just put you in timeout for a little bit. Who's my cable? I don't have cable. I have my streaming services. I feel like cable's coming back though. It's interesting. For the longest time when I was growing up, cable was where it's at. Then the um, will you help me get rich skin by becoming a Patreon? That's the question. Switched over to streaming, and now people are going back more and more to um, um, not streaming anymore, but going back to cable. Well, so there's the Star in the East, which is a different thing than Eastern Star. Um, it could be the Star of Bethlehem. I'd have to double check on that. I would tend to treat it more as just the star is metaphorical for the sun, to be honest, which rises in the east. But I think there's a couple different rituals and interpretations of it. Philip Smith, welcome back. Parker Studios is not wrong. It is getting way more expensive. Parker Studios, I think you're new to the stream. Please hit like and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. What are Skechers? I have no legs. So if Skechers are shoes, then I do not. Mr. X, welcome. Thank you for being here. Let me know if you have any questions or thoughts on Freemasonry. Positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. I do not wear watches. They bang off my wheelchair. So you always hear this like clanging sound. I used to drive. I had a car that had hand controls when I lived in Winnipeg, but I no longer drive. I find public transport works fine. But you can drive if you're missing your legs. The hand controls they have on cars nowadays are pretty incredible. I will fight a bear or a goat if I'll do it on stream. How about that to keep things interesting? And thank you, Skin. I truly appreciate that. And thank you, Mr. X. I truly appreciate that also. But don't forget, you can also become a Patreon for free, right? It doesn't actually, you can join the Patreon for free. And even that, I truly appreciate it because it helps get it to more people. They invite me for food all the time. I'm from Canada, born and raised in Winnipeg, now live in Windsor, Ontario. And it's, in my opinion, one of the greatest places, greatest countries in the world. Thank you, Theophilus. Thank you, Gigi. I am 42 years old, which is crazy to think. Thanks for reminding me how old I am. I was trying to forget about how old I was. Um, I will totally do that, Michael. I will totally do that. Only if people hit the like and subscribe button, then I will do that. Um, pronounced the awfulest. The awfulest? All right. Thank you, Gigi. I don't feel young. My favorite food is seafood. I love oysters especially. Raw oysters, best food by a mile. Doritos. Actually, no, I'm gonna go with Doritos. Oh no, it's the best. It's the best, Skinny. I disagree with you in that one. It's absolutely the best, 100%. I think all guitars sound better. There was this expression I once heard that said, well, I was debating it, but I said no, Doritos. Neither. I mean, I'm obviously going to cheer for the Allies in World War II. Um, if I had to pick one, like if we're going to lose, I'm not a fan of Nazis. Nazis put Freemasons in concentration camps. Um, uh, right? There's a famous example of a Masonic lodge being in a concentration camp. It was called the Cherished Liberty Lodge. It was in the Estwergen camp. It was Belgian Freemasons that formed it. So anybody who says that they cannot, deal with their Masonic responsibilities, for heaven's sakes, if they can form a Masonic lodge in a concentration camp, I think we can make it to our meetings regularly. Oh, they're incredible. Like oysters are absolutely the best food. That would be a major part of my final meal. I do not, and chess over checkers. All right, guys. I think I'm going to end this stream. I will be back on tomorrow or today, technically 1 p.m. We'll go from there. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great day and bye for now. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right. Talk to everybody later.